Good morning, good people. Today is Wednesday. It's actually Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent. March 5th, 2025. It is just a little bit before 6 in the morning out here in southwestern Nevada, west of Sin City, east of Death Valley, and south of Area 51. Cool. Boom. Hard Scrabble territory. Pahrump or Pahrumpertucky. You choose. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is our daily podcast, Career Services, where our goal is to help people through their journey, help people on their journey through this life, where the fundamental belief is we are spirits with a body. We are not bodies with a spirit. As such, there's 4 things we need to do to maximize this journey. We have to focus on the physical, keep the body in good shape. It's about the spirit, but number 1 is keep the body in good shape. Physical, fitness and health, what you ingest and what you do to work out, keep the body in good shape. The spirit needs the body in this incarnation, say, or dimension or whatever. Number 2, mental, always be learning. A, always be, B, C, learning. Always be learning. Now in Glengarry Glen Ross, as Maticus von Atticus pointed out, it was ABC, A, always B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. But for us, it's always be learning. Always be learning. Become an autodidactic like Lincoln. Next, so we got physical, mental, emotional. This is the key one that could be what it's all about. The big difference between being spirit and being non-spirit is the emotions. We have these emotions, and we don't know how to control them, and we get mad, and we do things. Our ego gets in the way. So learn to control your emotions, because if you don't control them, someone else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. And finally, spiritual, because we are spirit. So we do the spiritual part primarily on weekends. We call it G School. Our podcast is here to help people on the journey. The main way, though, we do it, the secret sauce is the worksheet, which is, there's a link down below. You can go to our Facebook page, our websites. The worksheet is everywhere. That's about 4 hours worth of stuff every day that covers the 4 areas: the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. A lot of quick little videos from the experts. The podcast itself, the fundamental purpose of the podcast is to create a routine and build better habits. Build better habits by repetition. And if you come back to this often enough, you watch this often enough, like on a daily basis, when you don't come, you'll notice you miss it. All right. Well, so today we're talking about the most wonderful thing, the huge, important thing. Good morning, Watnada Bevy. Hanging on by our fingertips, as we should be. Right on the edge, getting the most out of this life, realizing that it's what's next that counts, but we have to go through this, fighting the best fight, running the best race, doing the most we can, honoring the gifts that we have been given. Do I get the joke? I can't really see what that is. A little tiny thing about this big. It's blue on the bottom, or green on the bottom, and orange on the top, and there's some white things in there. Oh, you mean RAS and shine? RAS and shine, everybody. RAS and shine. Right, RAS and shine. Good one. Do you get the joke? Yes, good one. RAS and shine. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the reticular activating system. What? Yeah, the reticular activating system. This is the key. It's like the rudder. How about that? Or it's like the radar. In today's TED Talk from Mark Dawes, he really does a good job in many ways, including this is where we get the quote, our self-identity is made up of our self-beliefs. Right, change your self-belief, change your self-identity, prime the RAS. Okay, but before we do that, let's look at some of the other things we've got going. Advice from an 80-year-old. Begin each day with some of your favorite music. Música radical, as they say in Costa Rica. Begin each day with some of your favorite music. Bing. A lot of binging, bonging activity here on my phone. What the heck is going on? Nada de particular. I don't understand this Facebook thing, and I really don't understand people who comment on their own postings. Can somebody help me understand that, please? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Share. This is for the people. Sorry, people. Boom. Bonk. Bink. There are very few mandatory things in Glow Up. One of them is to watch this every day. If you want to change. If you don't want to change, that's okay, but there's no reason to be at Glow Up because Glow Up is only for people who want to change. All right. So advice from an 80-year-old, play some of your favorite music. What does Seth Godin have to say? The opposite of a good idea, ... might also be a good idea. Or as Lucy would do, The hard part isn't finding proof before you begin. The hard part is beginning, knowing you might not succeed. Welcome to my world, Richard Gere. Knowing you might not succeed. Imagine how it feels every day getting up knowing you're not going to succeed. Marcus Aurelius 101. Okay, where do we go? There we are. Cat is sick. Like with COVID? What do you mean cat is sick? The flu? I'm hoping Maticus von Atticus would join us because I have to take him on a mission to Dequino today to see about his first mission, his first gig. Why am I so blurry? Focus. Boom. There we go. Back. I'm back, people. Okay, so the reticular activating system. Now, the reason you don't know about this, if you've never heard of the reticular activating system, the reason you don't know about it is because we didn't have technology sophisticated enough to know about it or know what it did until fairly recently. And every day, more and more is being learned of the importance of this part of the body. It's located in the brainstem, at the top of the brainstem, bunch of neurons, about the size of your little finger back here. And this is well, it does a few things. Mainly, physiologically, our senses don't connect directly to our brain. They connect in through our brainstem. And at the top of the brainstem is the reticular activating system that kind of points things where they need to go. And you could say it's sort of like a filter, that things that are not important don't get into your brain. And as Mark Dawes says, We have 400 million bits of information coming into our brain every second. So from all of the nerves on our skin, all of the pixels coming in through our eyes, all of the sounds, the vibrations on our ears, most of that is blocked out because we couldn't handle it. So the reticular activating system is, on the one hand, like a filter. It blocks out everything that is not important. So when you're sitting in the chair, it's not important unless the chair is wobbly. Then all of a sudden, boom, your attention goes to that. When you're driving your car, traffic is not really important unless the car in front of you puts on its red lights or a car swerves in front of you. Then all of a sudden, bam, you are now consciously driving your car. Otherwise, you're non-consciously driving your car. And so things get filtered out. Anything that's not important gets anything that's not important gets filtered out. So yesterday I saw a video with David Eagleman and Jordan Peterson talking about brain plasticity, which is no longer a good term. Brain plasticity. And so Eagleman is giving an example of a bunch of people are going on a hike. One person's a podiatrist, another person's a naturalist or an environmentalist, another person's a climatologist, another person's an athlete. And each of them, they're on the same trail, they're on the same walk, they're doing it at the same time, but each of them are noticing different things. The world is different. So for the podiatrist, it's the terrain of the ground, how steep, the angles, the rocks, the things like that. That's the focus. For the climatologist, it's the weather, right? For the environmentalist, it's the surroundings, the landscape around, etc. The people are on the same walk, same time, but their awareness of the world is completely different. The podiatrist is completely ignorant of the landscape around the clouds, anything else other than what the podiatrist is interested in. That's because of the RAS. When you say law of attraction, or when you pray, I want this, and you get it, that's not because you prayed. It's not the law of attraction. It's the reticular activating system. Because what the RAS does, when it filters everything out other than what's important to you. So the only thing that comes in is things that are important to you. So if you have a prayer, you have a wish, you want something, what's important is that. So what the reticular activating system does is sort of like kind of like a radar. It's constantly scanning all information available to us to support our beliefs. So if you want to go on a trip to Hawaii, and it's really important that you figure out a way to get to Hawaii. Maybe you prayed upon it. Maybe you threw it out to the universe, the law of attraction. You primed the RAS, let in any information having to do with going to Hawaii. So that means you could be in a coffee house and people over there are talking and somebody says Maui, bonk, your reticular activation system gets a hit. You now have awareness of it. And you're saying, yeah, right. No. The best example that we've all experienced of this is you're in a crowded room. Somebody says your name and you hear it. You're in an airport. All of a sudden, over the white courtesy phone, you hear, would so-and-so please go to a white courtesy phone? They mention your name. You don't notice any other names, but if your name is mentioned, you do it. Why? Because our name is important to us. Why is our name important to us? Because it was drilled into us that it was important. When was that? Well, for most people, it's probably their mother saying something like, if I call your name, don't make me come find you. Don't make me chase after you. Don't make me find you. If I call your name, you come over to where I am. And so our name is very important to us. So anytime anybody says our name within earshot, we don't even have to know they're there. They can sneak up on us and whisper loud enough for us to hear, hey, Ed. And you're going to go, hey, cool, in real time. You also notice this when you have a car. You get your new car, all of a sudden you start noticing every car that's like your car. Why? Because of the reticular activating system. It is designed to block out anything that is not important to us. And it's constantly scanning for things that are important to us. And of course, that plays into addiction, right? So if you have an alcohol addiction, anytime you hear, smell, taste, touch, think of alcohol, you're going to get a hit of dopamine. Why? Because alcohol is important to you. And so in a neuroscience approach, one of the problems with AA is you're constantly telling yourself that you're an alcoholic. So it's like 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake. Yes, I'm an alcoholic. Where a neuroscience approach would be to say, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an alcohol doesn't control me. And then what you do is you decrease the flow, you decrease the flow, no, you decrease the flow, no, you decrease the flow, righty-tighty. You decrease the flow of dopamine and you increase the flow of oxytocin. So the cravings for alcohol goes down because you have released oxytocin. Okay, so the RAS is really, really important. Now, our self-identity is made up of our self-beliefs. And what does the reticular activating system allow in? Things that we believe are important. So if we think that we always screw up, we always make a mistake, what happens when we make a mistake? Right, our reticular activating system lets it in, it points it out. So in the old days when we used to do typing every day, making sure people knew how to type, when we used to do that, people who couldn't type would often start by saying, man, I suck. I can't type. It's too hard. My fingers don't move well, blah, 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 blah. I'm missing a finger. I can't type. Well, that's a closed mindset, right? We need to get a growth mindset. But what is planted in the RAS with that person? The belief that I can't type. So every time I make a mistake, what is the reticular activating system going to do? It's going to let it in. It's going to point it out. See, and I'm going to basically say, see. Okay. So a growth mindset. So if we want to learn to type, and this applies to any other thing, if we want to learn to type, we need to program the RAS to have a growth mindset. And we can add the words not yet or yet. Add the one word yet. I can't type yet. If you say, I can't type, now you've primed the RAS to let you know every time you screw up. If you say, I can't type yet, now you've programmed the RAS that every time you screw up to bring it to your attention, like, oh, I'm making progress. If you say, I can't type yet, what does that imply? It implies that one day I will be able to type. I just have to keep practicing. Right. If you say, I've always been fat, what are you saying? You're basically saying it's okay to eat extra calories. So you need to prime the RAS, change that to something different. I'm not thin yet. I'm not thin yet. Now what are you doing? Every time you want to eat, boom, it's going to come to your attention. You're going to say, I'm not thin yet. I'm going to put that aside. Okay, so we're at almost 19 minutes. Today is our volunteers breakfast. Hopefully everybody's ready to go. People at Pratt, I will be there to take 4 people. You need to be outside the gate. Outside the gate at 7:20, 7:15. Let's say it's 7:15, be outside the gate, but I will send the map code. I am under a tight time deadline. So for me to have to come all the way down to get you, to get back to the church by 7:30, I have to leave early. So it is a reticular activating system event for me when I have to leave 20 minutes early and people can't be out the door 30 seconds early. Cool, right. So what not a bevy. I hope you're going to have a good day. I have Today's Ash Wednesday for everyone, but I have class tonight. 2 more classes to go. Right. Okay. With that, we're going to say Avita Zane, people. Avita Zane. Okay. And cut. Wait, cut. And cut.